Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Dawn of War 2 replay. Spawn on the south side as the Smurfs. We have a foreign name. Spawn as the Apothecary, we have a foreign name. Spawning as the Red Apothecary, we have Dark Riku, and the biggest and the strongest, Big Mathis. Tactical Marine Squad, got shooters into shooters, pretty standard. Tactical Marine, pretty standard. So you got Mutant Smurfs, regular Smurfs, versus not Smurfs. We do have another scout squad being deployed out by the Force Commander. Nothing being deployed out by the Apothecary just yet. He may be eyeing for double Tactical Marines, or could be saving up for Assault Marines or Devastators. Over here, we do have the Scout Squad and the Tactical Marines and the Apothecary. Just the entire force just pushes his way forward.
Unleash all fury upon them.
The Force Commander could be ready to push his way forward. Tactical Marines making their advance up north, Scouts making their advance from the light cover, high ground, as the Tactical Marines are now getting tied up in melee, as the Apothecary is stuck capturing the VP. The Apothecary may need to heal himself. It does heal himself right there. And now we've got the Apothecary and the Force Commander chasing down these Tactical Marines. We've got the shotgun upgrade there. Good knockback there onto the Force Commander, but he doesn't get the knockback there on the Apothecary. Only suppression. This one will be captured on up. These forces are falling back away from the heroes. Over here, we've got the shooters and the war boss make their advance. No armor just yet. It's not coming to see spiky armor for the extra health and health regen for the war boss.
Adding power generator.
Scout squads making their advance. We've got these two shooters in the region. This Scout squad does have a sergeant upgrade, so now it can throw out some frag grenades. Both one of these squads have those frag grenade ability as well. Sluggers could charge on forward to have the Apothecary up in melee as the war boss pushes on forward, but looks like he gets forced on back. Shotguns and sergeant on that tactical scout squad as Tactical Marines coming in support as well. Second Tactical Marine squad for both the Apothecary players. Does get a nice knockback there with the scout squad. A little bit outgunned there. Apothecary charging forward does heal up the scout, not himself. As Force Commander is charging forward as well, gets a nice knockback there. The scouts could get a shotgun blast off and knock back the Force Commander. Looks like they don't get one off there.
An ally has secured a power node.
The chapter calls and we answer. Ready to serve.
We do have some Storm Boys now deployed on out, ready to jump on in. Devastator Marines been deployed out by the Force Commander.
Make ready. They have us targeted.
And now we have the Tactical Marines now making their advance. Storm Boys charging on forward. Of course, they don't have any knockback effects until they get the knob, and that's just a stun. So jumping behind them is not necessarily half bad. Does tie up, get some great damage on the Tactical Marine squad. Tactical Marine squad's falling back. Didn't get the heal off the Apothecary in time. Storm Boys charging forward as well, trying to get the wipe there on the Tactical Marine squad. Does get the wipe on the Tactical Marine squad. And now the Force Commander is falling on back.
Allies' forces are under attack.
Tactical Marines pushing their way forward. We have the Assault Squad now being deployed. And those that do get knocked back by the shotguns. Not sure what that was. Devastator deployed out on the high ground. Scout squads both upgraded this with a sergeant. One has shotguns. And it's getting some good damage there now. Got a mass capturing up by the red team. On the left side, you have the War Boss falling back, trying to avoid the Tactical Marines as these sluggers are captured the requisition point. We've got some Assault Marines ready to engage the Devastator, trying to close the distance. He gets a nice knockback there on Devastators as these forces start making their way forward. And he's trying to tie up the Devastator up in melee. The Apothecary could get a heal off on the Assault Marines there, but great frag grenade there. He needs to get a heal off on that Assault Marine squad. Even though there's a model missing, he needs that help. Jumps forward once again, forces back the Devastator with a full retreat. The Assault Marines need to fall back with full retreat as well.
Acquisition point under control.
On the left side, we got the shooters making their advance. You may see the sluggers, or storm boys, jumping on top of these forces. And we got the War Boss. No upgrades on the War Boss just yet. Force Commander does get knocked back there as the Devastators has been set up, keeping them at bay. Apothecary is captured at the point, but does decide to abandon the capture. Over here, got the shooters now advanced as well, getting some good damage. And the War Boss is charging in as well, but got a lot of damage on these forces, including the Devastator and the Scouts.
Scouts ready. Ready to serve. A fine welcome for us, brothers. Return.
Tactical Marines are captured their requisition point as these forces start making their advance as well.
Scouts here.
Devastators set on up in a good position. Where is the Assault Marines? They're right here, so they can jump on top of them. Shooters still very much healthy. In fact, that one still even though it's a little bit, quite a bit wounded, it actually has all of its models still. Frag grenade was thrown as Scout Squad's making soft retreat away. Devastator's still a bit of a problem. He needs to wait for his Storm Boys to come back up. On the right side, we do have the Assault Marine down to 2 members there. It does get a nice knockback there. There's the other model getting more knockbacks. That delayed assault was actually camping pretty good for crowd control, but he had too little health to really capitalize on it. That frag grenade is going to be great. That Scout Squad does get fully wiped thanks to that frag grenade. And it looks like the Apothecary player over here has lost a Tactical Marine squad. Something dropped on in there. Maybe a drop pod for Tactical Marines. Apothecary himself may go down, and the Apothecary does go down there. Devastators are just out of range to be any support as well. Forcing back those fresh Tactical Marines. Over on the right side,
Scouts ready.
Blue has managed to start reclaiming some of these points.
Support structure complete.
And the Apothecary's pushing his way forward. We do have a Sanguinine Chainsword, which of course allows some good health on hit, both on range and melee.
Acquisition point under control.
Tactical Marines and Scouts make their way forward. The Assault Marines ready to jump on top of the Devastators as they appear. The generator does go down. And the Assault Marines Storm Boys do jump on the high ground, forcing back the Devastators. They do have a bad retreat path, but they shouldn't take a whole lot of damage since there's no Scouts with the grenades in the retreat. Devastator sitting on up. He does have to be worried about the stealth scout squads to go forward with a shotgun blast, grenade blast, or just punch him in the face.
Weapon loadouts.
Devastators and shooters are both behind heavy cover, but the shooters do get suppressed there.
Make it so.
Assault Marines are falling on back, sending a bit too much damage there thanks to shotgun blast of the Scout Squad. Force Commander is currently not upgraded. This Apothecary, of course, has Extinguished Chainsword. This Apothecary has the Purification Rights because of knockback heals. And the War Boss is being upgraded with the Power Claw. Does throw a frag grenade on the before he retreats on back, but won't get any damage off. And the Apothecary is sustaining very, very good healing there. But sustaining too much damage on the retreat. He may need to get some armor to increase his own health to make it a bit more durable. Scout squad here, seeing quite a bit of fire. And a generator does go down. Last cannon Devastator setting on up. And does throw a frag grenade there on top of the last cannon Devastator, doing some good damage in there, but the Apothecary could heal him up. And we've got some plasma guns on the tactical marines now. One generator does go down. And Storm Boys jump on in and retreat on back again. We've got a plasma cannon Devastator set up, being deployed on up right here. Best focus down the scout squad. Fires. Again, annihilates that assault marine. Won't be able to get another shot off. Does throw up a grenade there. Blows himself up. But may get the wipe there on the Devastator, down to 17 health, 15 health, 12 health. But no, the plasma cannon Devastator will fall back in time. Smoke round was utilized. Devastator's setting on up, will get tied up in melee by the Apothecary, and a lot of free health there, but good knockback there by the Force Commander. But the missile launchers, the two quickly spawned missile launchers, takes out the Razorback, and now I'll be doing some gen bashing. On the north side, we've got the Devastators capturing the point, as these forces are going to ignore the Devastator. The Apothecary has gone down.
Bring forth the chapter standard. The enemy is capturing one of our cities. Beware. The enemy has breached our landing zone.
Looks like he immediately respawned out his Apothecary, which he will have sustained the maximum near maximum penalty for that. He does have plasma guns on both these tactical marine squads, and now they have both of them have sergeants now. This generator will likely go down relatively shortly, as this scout squad is just picking away some damage. It looks like they're just meant for capturing a cheap capture squad and for repairs later on. Power node is under quite a bit of fire right now. And the War Boss have been upgraded with the spiky armor now, giving him health and health regen, as well as some melee damage retaliation. Nothing really important against in these fights. It's mostly good against like heretics and hormagaunts. But the extra health and health regen is actually quite nice, because 2.5 health regen is actually quite significant, especially on something heavy as the War Boss. Force Commander has sustained quite a bit of fire there. Plasma Cannon Devastator gets a direct hit there on the Weird Boy. The Weird Boy is now falling on back. Great frag grenade there on the shooters, but the Assault Marines now, however, charging on in. And the Storm Boys now charging in themselves, tying up the Devastator up in melee. The Tactical Marine squad's falling back as well. The Orc forces are getting a little bit wounded, and the Apothecary does go down, and now got the charge coming in, has the Angry Bits that gives him now an angry ability, that explosive charge ability. Another power generator does go down as a scout squad fall back. A lot of anti-vehicle weapons by the Red Apothecary, with the plasma cannon and 2 missile launchers. A little bit too much, probably. Gain some good damage there. And now we've got the War Boss charging forward, trying to top these forces up in melee. The weird board does get a nice knockback there out of heavy cover, so the troops can get some great damage in. And the war boss is actually fully falling back for some odd reason. Apothecary does heal himself right there, has an upgrade to both the customized Stormbolter, gives him a stun ability. Apothecary's falling it down, so I couldn't have time to read the other build, item, what it was. Force Commander's also falling back. Stormboy's charging forward. May see another hero going down. Down to 1 health. The Force Commander managed to live with 1 health remaining. Oh, no, that's not Razorback, that's a Whirlwind. Getting some great AoE damage right there. It provides consistent long-range artillery barrages. Blue doesn't have a whole lot of VPs remaining, but they do have a capture right now. Devastator's getting some good suppression there, but do get interrupted by the Assault Squad. But yeah, the Tactical Marines now push his way forward, including the Plasma Cannon Devastator. Central VP is being captured up by Blue, while the Northern VP is being captured up by the War Boss, but now being abandoned by the War Boss. The Angry Bits was not exactly very successful. Storm Boys on the low ground could just jump up high. They have plenty of energy. Devastator does get spotted. Frag Grenade could be pretty successful. No, he does dodge it in time. This may be a good time for a suicide. Great hit there with the weird boy. And more knockbacks there. And here comes the Storm Boys getting some great suppression there. Does take out the Apothecary with that suicide there. Very nice. Last Cannon Devastator will not be able to do much versus Force Commander. Here comes a Whirlwind. We've got Plasma Cannon Devastator here for artillery, so we've got medium artillery and more heavy artillery. The Whirlwind's actually severely wounded. He needs to get a Scout Squad to repair it up. Here comes the Scout Squad. He needs to repair that up. It's way too wounded. Wait, is the Whirlwind can fire close range or armor-piercing rounds? Plasma Cannon Devastator, of course, getting knocked down, getting hit by a pair of missiles, the Whirlwind, but look, Melted Bomb also there as well. The Melted Bomb does take out the Whirlwind. Ooh, exact damage seemed like. Tactical Marines are tying up the Plasma Cannon Devastator. There's 2 Plasma Cannon Devastators currently deployed on out. Not enough, I guess, front line. Too much back line with the 2 Plasma Cannons in the Whirlwind. The War Boss has reached Tier 3, and he's pretty close to getting out a... He could have got a looted tank, but I think it's going for Daisy. Apothecary and the Tactical Marine Squad is now falling back. We do have the forces trying to pursue it, but the Apothecary has still plenty of health, so it's not going to go down. We do have some flash kits out in the field as well. And they are being upgraded to Git Finders.
An ally has secured a requisition point.
And now they're being upgraded with the Blastas. So has plenty of resources. He could go for the Battle Wagon. Over here we've got the Scout Squad pushing their way forward, trying to capture up the VP. Still have the Weird Boy as well, so and going for more flash kits, so it looks like going for a bit more heavy range composition. Over here, the Scout Squad falling on back. Does throw out a frag grenade there. The Tactical Marine Squad does fall back. But overall, with the amount of anti-vehicle damage they have, it's just not very useful. Those was the last cannon Devastator. And they do have also 2 Dreadnoughts now deployed on out. So most of the anti-vehicle damage would be useful. Storm Boys now falling back. Weird Boys making a soft retreat. We got the Flash gets able to push on forward, so can the War Boss. The War Boss has the anti-vehicle melee. Weird Boys are now fully falling back, and now the Flash gets now firing. Of course, they knock themselves back upon firing. They didn't appear to do a whole lot of damage to that Dreadnought, honestly. Dreadnoughts now are seeing a bit of fire there by the missile launchers. Getting some good damage in. Good, consistent damage with the 2 missile launchers. Over here, the Flash gets annihilating that Plasma Cannon Devastator. And the Plasma Cannon Devastator fully goes down to the Flash Gits. Dreadnought is engaging the Dreadnought. I like that the Dreadnought will win that fight. I'm sort of surprised, but this one's actually went out. It seems like the Flash Gits should be able to support him. Ooh, good AoE damage there, but that's a lot of health regen there. Oh, Weird Boy nails his own Storm Boys right there. Storm Boys could jump onto this group, trying to suppress and stun them. And does get a nice little stun there. Flash gets pushing his way forward, and we do have the War Boss knocking back the Force Commander, who does not have a whole lot of VPs remaining, so it's a VP game. So knocking them down a bit, and that is actually very important. We do have the Melter Bomb onto the Dreadnought there for blue, and they do manage to capture the central VP. Force Commander is severely wounded, but the War Boss gets chain knocked back. The Dreadnought being deployed out by the Apothecary, Blues of Apothecary. And now we have a looted tank being deployed out. And the power mode does go down as the Flash gets against some damage onto the Dreadnought. Great knockback there by the Weird Boy, which will allow the Flash gets past to get the wipe. No, they did not. Assault Cannon has been deployed out by this Dreadnought here. And it looks like an item to decapture this point. Capturing up this point will put the pressure on blue, and if red can push the central VP, putting pressure on both of them will very, very harm blue team. And here comes Rocks atop the 3 Dreadnoughts. Again, direct hit there on one of the Dreadnoughts, and this other Dreadnought here is getting severely with the Venerable. That's not a Venerable Dreadnought, never mind. Flash gets a falling back. These forces could perhaps stay. The Stormboy does have an anti-vehicle melee weapon with the Knob Leader. Apothecary charging forward, but does get stunned by the full auto ability. Force Commander try to go for an attack there. Stormboy's charging forward, tying up the Devastator up in melee. Flash gets a charge on forward as the Sluggers could eye for the VP itself. Missile launchers hitting the Dreadnought. Over here, we do have the Stormboys now falling back. The looting tank should be out, but no, I think saving up his resources perhaps for Daisy. I'm not even sure actually what saving up his resources for. I don't think it's enough population room for Daisy. We do got some commando knobs or commando squad being deployed on now.
Understood.
Oh, something being deployed on out right there. Looks like got some more tactical marines. The Force Commander did lose his Dreadnought, so it's just down to Devastators and the tactical marine squads and his Plasma Cannon Devastators. So the Force Commander doesn't really have a whole lot left on the field. The War Boss now falling back, seeing quite a bit of fire there. Right now, the red team needs out some long-range firepower. So Assault Barrage coming forward, but he does outright miss. The other one's going for closer range barrage and does get interrupted there because he's really wounded. The Stormboys are charging forward, forcing back the Scout Squad. Stormboys are now falling back. The Tactical Marine Squads could eye for capture the points. Something should capture up that point immediately. Perhaps the Commando Squad. Scout Squad is maybe good as well. Those missile launchers kind of stand him not using them because he needs them to fire. Weird Boy does not connect that shot to take out that Dreadnought. And there we go, one missile hit there, taking out one of the Dreadnoughts. The other Dreadnought's now receiving a lot of fire. BP is going to be captured up. There's actually double captures because the southern point was actually captured up, so that's going to be game. And that is the end of the replay as I do my outro over here. This sounded great, saying thank you for watching and have a good night.